Marriage is great, but life is hard. So you need someone you can suffer with. And I know that isn't like sexy talk, but it really is. And we've learned how to suffer well together and to still have joy in the middle of chaos and still love each other and still be there for each other. You're going to tell them that you thought you were getting catfish?
I did. I did, yeah.
So my one, he was like, afterwards he was like, oh, you do actually look like your pictures.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
You never know. So, I mean, I'd been on a few dates from like other Christian dating websites, and they never really materialised into anything. Also, I think for me it was the church I was in. As a single man, there wasn't anyone you could, they're either too young or too old for you. So, yeah, I just thought I'd try Soul. So I started. I think went on it in December 2019, and then I think January, February 2020, so I messaged her, and the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah, so I'd been on other Christian dating sites as well, and I'd had some interesting dates. So some had just been like, you're just not really compatible. Others had been slightly strange. So I did go on a date where a guy brought another girl, which is always a bit of a sour way to end any sort of potential future. And I think I knew somebody who'd been involved in SALT quite early on, and I knew that it had been based on prayer, and I really liked the idea that actually it was about connecting people and giving them a space to share their stories and share their faith. So I joined SALT probably a little bit earlier than Rammy and wanted just to see what that looked like, and it was very different to anything else that was kind of out there at the time, and that was really good for me. And it meant that, yeah, February we got the match. It was fab. So for me, Rammy messaged me first, which was I quite liked, but he had a really lovely smile, and I was really intrigued by his faith journey because he'd put some information on there about coming to know Jesus and some of his history, and I was quite intrigued by that. And he seemed really normal, which was also really nice, apart from the fact that his profile picture had a cat in it, which was slightly strange. But other than that, I was like, yeah, I'd like to at least have a conversation.
Yeah, I would say for me it was definitely your smile. I think your profile was definitely something, the way you just explained your love for God. I think that's, for me, was like trying to find someone who's Christian and not just nominal Christian, was again being the reason being on SALT. So I think that's what it was for me. Yeah, I messaged you first, and then I gave you my number. I think our first phone call was about 2 hours long.
It was 6.
Was it 6?
It was 6.
Oh, probably 6. So yeah, we just spoke quite a bit. You lived a bit further away from me, so we just spent a lot of time just talking over the phone. Yeah.
It was really easy. The first phone call was like super easy. And that's not unusual for me. I feel like I could talk to anybody for 6 hours on the phone. For you, that was quite but I got off the phone and I was like, I've got no idea if he actually likes me at all. Like he was so quite aloof. Rammy, we shared a bit about our testimonies in that call, and I was like, that's really powerful. Like Rammy's is a Muslim convert to Christianity way before me, and I was like, okay. And I really wanted to meet someone who loved God, and that was going to be central to any future. And we'd laughed as well, like we laughed a lot. But I was like, I don't want to do the whole messaging telephone calls for like the next 3 weeks. And Rammy had just had surgery. So I said to him, shall we meet up to watch the boxing? Because we both love boxing. And we then met up to watch the boxing and have food. And it was just like we were really good. It just felt like we were really good friends, didn't it?
Yeah, it was quite like, just felt natural, yeah.
And we messaged him obviously in between then. But you're going to tell them that you thought you were getting catfish?
I did. I did, yeah.
So my one, he was like, afterwards he was like, oh, you do actually look like your pictures. I was like, yeah.
You never know. I'd say for me it was in a couple of weeks, after the first couple of weeks, I just knew, you just get that, that God feeling thing. You just know, That was for me,
we'd been speaking for 2 weeks, and I'd had a really awful week at work, and my mum had come to stay, and we were in an Airbnb, and I couldn't sleep because I was feeling a bit like anxious and stuff. And so I was in the bathroom at this Airbnb, in the bath, on the phone to Rammy, talking to him about it. And I got off and I was like, I really hope that this is more than just a few dates, because this guy is really lovely. He was just very, very kind. Yeah, I think that was for me quite a significant point. It did go quite quick though, didn't it?
We got engaged about 10 months after we met.
Yeah.
10, 11 months, yeah.
But COVID happened.
Yeah.
And so
we did have a lot of time where, especially the first 3 months when no one knew what was going on, we just spoke on the phone. Just everything was just having to just get to know each other. So it was very, I think that helped a little bit.
Yeah, we did really deep, really quick because of that. I think in some ways, especially me, my life was so busy. COVID meant that I had to stop, and that meant that there was a lot more time. So we'd speak every day on the phone for hours. Technically, obviously we'd been out for the boxing and stuff, but we didn't have a proper sit down dinner date until we'd been dating for 6 months because of COVID. And we had 3 months where we didn't see each other in person. And then I had to go to the doctors. And so Rammy picked me up. It's the most dressed up I've ever been for any doctor's appointment in my life. I was hair done, makeup done, wearing a summer dress, and then because Rammy's quite black and white in some ways, Rammy was like, "You're very dressed up for the doctors." I was like, "Well, it's obviously not for the doctor." We did a pre-engagement course.
Yeah, we did. We did the whole. I think it was 6 weeks.
Yeah.
6 weeks pre-engagement course. I mean, we knew what we wanted. I think that was just to just cement it a little bit.
I knew that I really loved Rammy, and we both had lots of conversations. Probably this is the picture that helped. But we basically had a moment where we both were talking. I moved to Bury, which was closer to where Rammy lives, so that we could bubble and all of that. And we did the course. And during that, I said to God, I was like, he's really kind. He's the polar opposite to anything I ever thought. And that makes it perfect. Feel very peaceful. We both talked about that, didn't we? Feeling real peace. And then I was like, can I have a sign? And just a little sign. And in 2016, 2015, I'd gone into Paper Chase, and God had told me to buy a card that I was going to give to my husband. And there were lots of reasons why the person on the card wasn't what I thought my husband was going to be like. But then when I'd prayed this prayer, I found this card, and it's this one that says "You're a hunk" on it, which I gave to Rammy on our wedding day. But it was a little caricature of Rammy. I wasn't expecting him to propose though on the beach. I was like, I wonder, and he'd sort of mentioned wait until our 1 year, which was in February. And then he'd been a bit weird, and then we went to the car wash, and I was like, he was chill, cool as a cucumber. And I was like, why would we go to the car wash? Can't be that. Yeah. The only thing that was when we got to the beach, I was like, the fish and chip shop's open, which is Rammy's favourite food. I was like, should we go get some? And he was like, no, we have to go for a walk now. And I was like, right, okay. I was like, that's odd. He's never turned down food before. But then afterwards, we went and got fish and chips afterwards. Yeah. That was lovely.
So I came to Christ in about 2010, 2011. I just stopped contact with my family for obvious reasons. They're all Muslims, and obviously you're born into a Muslim family, you're not allowed to convert. So I didn't speak to them for about 15 years. I think when we met, I had a little bit of contact, and it had just started, and then within 2-3 months that just broke down again, just due to the same issues of them wanting me to be, go back to being a Muslim, and obviously knowing that, actually I'm seeing someone who's not a Muslim, who's a Christian, and who's who's not Asian. So that sort of escalated the whole rift. So when obviously we got married, you Anna helped with sort of building the bridge. So we We do speak. We've seen them once, so that's just an ongoing. Yeah, I'd say.
And I'm building a relationship with his mum, and so there's cultural differences, and there's learning how to stay true to who we are as a couple and what that looks like and what our family is like, and then also embracing and loving his family in a way that is honouring and respectful and engaging with that element of his culture, because it's quite a contrast in how, I suppose in some ways, my dad's got no boys, and so Rammy's like the son he never had, and I regularly will have dad be like, oh, don't say that about my boy. And I'm like, all right, but I am the eldest daughter, like, come on. So I think it's been an amazing testimony to God's grace in our marriage that we've been able to reconnect with Rammy's family and build a relationship that still honours him and is still true to him, but is also allowing them to partake in and grow and get to know us.
Mm-hmm. I'd say for the single men, don't take it as a punishment if you're single. You know, I felt like that, and it's not. And don't compromise on what you want. And don't compromise your faith over the facts of the materialistic thing of being married. It's what marriage is, what marriage is for. When you find the right person, you can have to sacrifice a lot of yourself.
Yay!
Yeah.
I would say something probably quite similar. I think being single in a Christian context is odd, because by the time that you're like 22, you can feel like you're on a shelf that doesn't exist in any other societal norm. We met and got married in our late 20s, early 30s. But I just think, I would say, when looking for somebody, you have to find them physically attractive. I think that that's important. But the friendship element, like, we're best friends. And I think one of the things that being your complete whole self with somebody, and I felt like I could be my complete whole self, the good, the bad, the ugly. Like, I tell Rammy stuff that I wouldn't want anyone to ever know about me because it's just not nice. But he just hears it, loves me, and challenges me. And I think marriage is great. You get to have a permanent sleepover with your best friend. Lovely, really fun. But it's also really life is hard and it's work and you are sacrificing, but it's ultimately for this beautiful thing and you're loving them, and that's part of a choice. And that's lots of things basically in 3 sentences, but ultimately find your best friend.
Yeah.